Who's got it right, in your opinion, Donald Trump or Zohran Mamdani, when it comes to the capture of Nicolás Maduro?
I think Mamdani's standing up for the United States Constitution, which says you don't go to war without the Congress approving. I think you're seeing folks on both sides of the aisle in Washington saying you cannot go and take a foreign leader out of his presidential palace and take him to America. You just can't do that without the Congress weighing in first, because it has created a situation of war with another country. And by the way, I think what we're seeing more and more, Blake, Americans on left and right do not want us intervening in the affairs of other countries. We've got plenty of problems right here at home to deal with. And if you want to talk about America first, it's not America first to start this up and to put our American service members in danger in the process with no plan for what's next, I guarantee you. So Mamdani's right on this. And I actually think a lot of people, Republican and Democrat, would agree with his position.
What would you say, though? There are roughly 22,000 Venezuelans, you know this, who live in New York, who are thrilled with the outcome here. How should they feel given the position of the New York City mayor tonight?
In a city of 8.5 million people, we don't make our decisions based on one community or another. We got to think about what's good for everyone. And the United States going to war without congressional approval is not good. Look, what happens next, Blake? This is always the problem. When you look at Iraq, you look at Vietnam, you look at so many situations in our history. Go in for whatever reason, and then what happens next? We lose a lot of good young American men and women. We lose a huge amount of money that could be used to solve our problems here at home. And our problems are severe in the year 2026. Let's face it, most Americans are struggling to make ends meet. So, no, I'm sorry. It's not about, and I respect the members of the Venezuelan American community, but it's not about one community. It's about this entire country. This is a very dangerous precedent. And I guarantee you, most Americans think we have no business going into Venezuela.
Let me ask you about another community there in New York City, which is the Jewish community. One of the first actions of Mayor Mamdani was to overturn an executive order that says employees there of New York City cannot engage in BDS, which is boycott, divest, and the sanctions movement against Israel. You once said, Mayor DeBlasio, quote, "I look forward to challenging them. It's ahistorical," meaning the BDS movement. You called it one of the most ahistorical things I have ever seen. Do you still feel that way? Is Zohran Mamdani wrong to do what he did?
No, he's not wrong to do what he did because there was an election, Blake. He put his views in front of the people. He made very clear that he thought what the government of Israel was doing was wrong.
Have your views changed on it then? Because, I mean, it's clear what you felt a decade ago, and it doesn't align with what Zohran Mamdani just did the other day. My
bigger views on the importance of having a secure homeland for the Jewish people have not changed. I'm extremely distressed by what the Israeli government has done. I think there's been consistent inhumane acts, including allowing a famine in Gaza that really is just inappropriate by any international standard and by our American values. So I think Zohran Mamdani put forward to the people of New York City that the city should not be taking the wrong side on this. And there was a clear and resounding vote in his favor, including, bluntly, many members of the Jewish community who supported him. So I think it's absolutely appropriate for him to have his own executive orders that express the will of the people. That was the reason for his election.
Israel finds his overturning of the executive order involving anti-Semitism to be anti-Semitic. You don't feel that way?
Not at all. I think that is a very specific definition, which leads to that particular definition, which Mayor Adams put in the executive order, is debated within the Jewish community. A lot of people believe it actually endangers freedom of speech, and freedom of speech is something that matters to New Yorkers deeply, and particularly to Jewish New Yorkers, given all the history. So, no, I think every mayor has a right to decide their own policies, not to have their predecessor try and do things at the very last moment that don't represent the will of the people.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.